The precious metal will help you preserve your wealth,
Right.
but only investing in good companies, the junior miners, will you be able to make any kind of a potential profit.
Welcome back. I'm the Stacking Stormtrooper, and I am very happy to have with me CEO Rana Vig of Blue Lagoon. How you doing, Rana?
I'm doing fantastic today. Thank you.
I've been watching various YouTube interviews of junior mining companies, and I've come across quite a few of yours, and I have to say I find yours to be very interesting. I've watched some where you talked about your background, that you were involved in some cannabis IPOs and investments and what have you, and now you're in junior mining, and I just found a lot of it to be very fascinating. And I was wondering if you'd be able to just kind of give the viewers a quick background about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm an entrepreneur. I was, most of my life I was in private enterprise over 30 years of private businesses, mostly in different verticals. And, mostly I'm a startup guy. So, I learned a long time ago that I'm not all that smart. So, the way I equalize that is just outwork everybody and then surround myself with the brightest of that particular industry that I'm in. And then about 10 years ago, I got invited to join the capital markets. It was a tough time. 2008 and 2009 had just kind of happened, the financial crisis, and I was looking for a bit of a change. And a very successful venture capitalist, like to the tune of worth over $300 million, who made most of his money in mining,
Mm-hmm.
invited me. And I said, yeah, I think I could use a change. So I jumped in. And it was quite the rude entry because, unfortunately, the mining sector completely collapsed.
Oh,
And all
yeah.
my investments, disappeared and collapsed with it.
I,
But you know what? That's the fast lane, right, of entrepreneurship. And but I took those companies over because the fundamentals of business don't change whether you're running. It doesn't matter. What you're running, a manufacturing company or a
right.
restaurant or what have you. So I took those companies over, surrounded myself with some very bright technical people, and kind of hung in there. Unfortunately, the mining didn't quite turn around up until just recently. And then in 2018, I said to myself that I've got to do something here.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the experience that I gained in the public markets, I took that and applied it to the cannabis sector, which you mentioned earlier,
Mm-hmm.
which was extremely hot, right? It
Yeah.
was unbelievable. So I was very fortunate. I took a company out of the Boston area called Cureleaf, which was the largest Canadian cannabis raise in history. It was a $520 million raise and nearly a $6 billion RTO.
Nice.
And then a couple of months later, I was able to do it again. I found a company out of Arizona called Harvest Health and Recreation, a fantastic company. And I took them public, and that was a $300 million raise and nearly a $2 billion RTO. So,
That is awesome.
that was the third largest of 2018. So yeah, and then just reading about what's happening around the world with all the governments are just broke
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They were printing money at
Oh, yeah.
unprecedented rates, right? So I just decided, what, I think mining is about to, at some point, got to come back, and particularly gold and silver. So everyone thought I was crazy. I started this company 2 years ago, and thank goodness I picked another winner. It looks like, and gold is, I think, about to enter, and silver, they're about to enter, I believe, into the next precious metals super cycle. And here we are today with Blue Lagoon Resources.
And so, and I got to tell you, I've heard you say on a couple of the interviews how you're not the brightest guy, but you like to surround yourself with some of the brightest individuals. And I have to say, you have to be smart in order to know which people to surround yourself with. So you got to give yourself some credit, and to be able to take, a couple companies public, and here you are now with a junior mining venture. I mean, you got to give yourself a little bit more credit. You're a very smart guy. So,
Well, I think it's
um,
great. It's very kind of you. I think it's very important to recognize, what one's strengths are, and but I think what most important to me is to recognize your weaknesses and the challenges. You have to have a good self-image. You have to believe in yourself.
mhm.
I don't need to go telling people, who I am. And I think it's very important to be the dumbest guy in the room. I don't want to be the smart guy. I want to be the dumbest guy in the room, and surround myself with brilliant people because that's how you get things done, and that's how you build great companies, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Gold and silver prices have come down quite a bit, right? We saw gold hit $2,000 an ounce. Silver
Yeah.
was teetering right around the $30 an ounce. And now, because of the COVID news, which is absolutely fantastic, but we do see the price in metals drop. But recently, Goldman Sachs, they just reaffirmed that there is going to be still a target of $2,300 for gold in 2021. That being said, do you think this is still a buying opportunity for individuals? Do you think they should hold? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. First of all, you're speaking to the converted, right? I'm a stacker myself. I was just it's too bad I don't have it here. I was just showing somebody the other day. I've got a several 100 ounce silver bricks, I guess, and a whole bunch of smaller ones. So yeah, no, I think it's very important to hold the physical. I completely agree with you. So I have lots of physical gold as well as silver.
Mm-hmm.
But on buying more, yeah, look, I try to buy more myself. You're absolutely right. It was very, very challenging. But you know what? Look, you got to understand, we're not traders, okay? So people
Right.
who worry about the price of gold or silver going up and down have too small of a window, a horizon.
Completely
You got to
agree.
think longer term here. It's only traders that come in and out, whether it's a stock or the physical metal. The gold and silver, it's not really an investment. It's an asset.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding it. I mean, think about it for a second, right? If you go back to the 70s and, gold was $35. And, if you were to take that if we had $35 in hard currency, and we were back in the 70s right now, and you put it in a bag and you buried it in the backyard, and you took a 1 ounce, piece of gold, 1 ounce of gold, and you buried it next to it. And fast forward to today, and we dug it out. What is the value of that $35?
Right.
What do you get, right? Barely a couple of movie tickets these days.
Right.
But what is the value of that 1 ounce gold, right?
Right.
1850, 1900, right? It's an asset, right? It's an asset that you hold on to. It's a hard asset, So I don't worry about the prices. You can never top the market. You can never buy the market. So, what I've been doing for years is just buying whatever I can on a regular basis every
Mm-hmm.
month, right? Just go out and buy a little bit of this, buy a little bit of silver, buy a little bit of gold, when you can.
Right.
So I think absolutely that gold has nowhere but up to go, and silver, the same thing. The demand is increasing. Funds are starting to get into it for the first time. And the supply is very limited, as in these, in the precious metals.
Oh, sure.
So I'm not worried at all. I think that and a lot more smarter the people than me, like Goldman Sachs and the Bank of America and all these institutions who have tremendous access to research are all projecting. And remember, it's not even that gold's going up. It's that the dollar continues to get devalued.
Right.
See, that's another thing that people don't understand.
Right.
The more the governments print, the more the value of the dollar decreases, and therefore the gold is worth more. I mean, that's the bottom line, right?
Mining industry's median, I think I saw somewhere, either it was a previous interview I did with another mining company, or it was an article that I had read, but I think I saw somewhere that the all-in sustaining costs of mining is about $975 an ounce. So still, like, you just look at that number, there's a lot of profit to be made.
Tremendous.
Yeah. So that being said, like, if gold just stayed flat, like around like $1,800 right now, compared to previous years, I mean, just how profitable do you see things being for the mining industry?
Very profitable, and that's a very good point that you bring up, because see, the markets get too hung up on the price of gold, because that's driven by the media, right? All the time they're talking about this. But
Oh yeah.
for mining companies, man, I'll take $1,800, 1850, 1750 gold all day long, because you're correct, in North America anyways, right? I mean, that's somewhere around the mining cost that you mentioned. So no, those are very favorable numbers, and silver where it's at right now, absolutely amazing. Like for example, in our property, for every 1 ounce, we have a 1-to-4 ratio. For every 1 ounce of gold, we have 4 ounces of silver. So that becomes very valuable, because when we ship our material to a mill, they don't give us different costs for the silver and different costs for the gold. Our all-in costs are generally based on that number of, we generally peg it to the gold.
Mm-hmm.
So silver is like getting it for free. So there's a tremendous amount of profit to be made, and that's why mining that's why you saw Warren Buffett a few weeks ago jump in.
Oh yeah.
and invested in gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it Varick Gold or something like that? Or
that's right, because he sees that they're going to be very, very profitable, even at these levels.
Yeah, and that made huge news. I mean, all the different channels within YouTube who are in stacking. I mean, everybody was posting that information up on their YouTube channel, because Warren Buffett has been kind of like a naysayer when it comes to precious metals, and then you see him make this tremendous investment. What was it, like $500-something million? So that got a lot of people's heads to turn. So why do you think people should be diversifying in precious metals?
Well, I think it's very important, as I mentioned earlier, right? It's a way to preserve your wealth, and the example that I gave earlier about what gold was worth in the 70s and what it is today, or silver. I think it's very, very important. But beyond just having the physical, I think it's very important to take a look at good companies, if your risk profile allows it, because the precious metal will help you preserve your wealth,
right?
But only investing in good companies, the junior miners, will you be able to make any kind of a potential profit. And the reason is because when precious metals take off, right? If you look at historically, for example, if you go back and look at the charts in 2009, 10, 11, and the same thing happened. Gold pulled back first, right? Then it catapulted up to a new high. And that's what's happening exactly now again. And I fundamentally fully believe that you're going to see very, very soon, gold make new highs again. This is just normal. These are just a normal adjustments,
right,
and consolidations, of the market. But when that happens, when gold makes that move, for every small incremental increase that gold goes up by, good junior mining companies that have good management and solid projects go up many multiples of times.
Right.
And that's why often people who invest in there, will get a 10 times, 20 times, 30 times return, unheard of returns, right? It happens. But the key is, of course, it's got to be, great management, and got to be, good projects that are solid, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of management, again, you're the founder of Blue Lagoon Resources, and, I was doing a little bit of research on you, and I saw some interesting information that you were able to purchase Blue Lagoon without spending any cash for about half of what the previous owners had already spent on it, and then only with another $1 million to spend on it before it was even production ready. How did you pull that off? And like I said, you don't give yourself enough credit. You say you're not the smartest guy in the room. I wouldn't be able to do that. So tell us, how did you do that?
You know what? Just a lot of patience and skills that you develop over the years of negotiating, and a little bit of good luck, right? They say the harder you work, the luckier you get. So I just work super hard. Our timing was very good when we did this. When we started talking about this deal, it was earlier in the year, in the beginning of the year. Mining still hadn't quite started to make the move yet. Gold definitely was not. It was still sitting around 1,400, 1,450, and the momentum wasn't there. And yeah, I just these owners, they've been wonderful family. They've been at it for about a dozen years on this property, and they, of course, previous owners had spent more money on this property, about 40 million, but these owners spent 28 million on the last dozen years on infrastructure and development. But their age caught up to them. They're 83 years old now.
Oh, okay.
And they could not get it to the finish line. So I was the lucky one who came.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. So yeah, we only need $1 million US, roughly just under $1.5 million Canadian to get this into production. We're about halfway done through our process. We have a very healthy treasury, over $6 million in the bank right now in the company, and I got no debt.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm in a very, very, very,
solid.
very good position. Yeah.
That's what investors would like to hear. And in terms of your market cap, where are you now, and what do you see that's coming on the horizon that's going to entice an investor to let them know like how that market cap's going to increase?
Sure. We're sitting at about 45 million Canadian, right now. So we're a great value right now because uh, what the drivers are, the milestones really in a good junior mining company is your ability to expand on where are you today and where are you going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So with us, we have a very unique situation. We got three different opportunities. Number one, to get this mine into production and be in one of those rare companies that actually have cash flow. So I'm very confident that we only have these three things to do, and we'll be done by about our estimation is by about April, May, and by the summer we should be in a position to make a decision on moving forward on that side of it. So that's very exciting. And then there's 15 other known high-grade veins
Mm-hmm.
on this property. So we're going to be working on those starting in January. We're going to be starting to work on those and see how we can expand those areas. And then this company previously, because it was private, their complete focus was to try to get the mine into production. That's all they spent all their money on, all the energy on. So they never explored the rest of the property.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge property.
Right.
So we did the first ever what's called the airborne geophysical survey. Where you get a helicopter and it flies up and down the property looking for conductivity
Mm-hmm.
in the ground, and it was incredible because the whole property just lit up, and all my technical team was very excited, thinking, "Wow, how come no one's ever done this before?" So we are very, very excited about getting going on that data that we just found, and we're going to start working on that starting January 11th, just a matter of 3 or 4 weeks. So 2021 is going to be a game-changing year, I believe, for our company because of all these factors, these three key things that we have going on, for us, and that's what will build the value. That's what will help increase the market cap because that's why we believe we're undervalued right now.
And in terms of Dome Mountain, do you have plans to put Dome Mountain into production?
That's the one,
That's
exactly.
the
That's
one.
the one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that we have the mine on. It's called Doe Mountain.
This is very exciting stuff. I think that a lot of my viewers are going to be interested in taking a look at Blue Lagoon, and I'm going to put the information on the company in my description. And Rana Vig, you're welcome here anytime. I appreciate you, and I wish you all the success on your upcoming endeavors.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Best of luck. Stay safe, and I wish all the best to your viewers. And yes, listen, I'm available to answer any questions. I'm a very engaged CEO, so your viewers are welcome to go to our website, bluelagoonresources.com. Click on the email link there, and it'll eventually make its way to me. And I'm happy to engage and answer any questions. And I think this is the most exciting time. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're dealing with COVID and all these things, but the silver lining there really is that from a precious metals standpoint, this is really the most exciting time that people have been waiting for a very long time because we all believe that the precious metals are about to go into that super cycle.
Yeah, I do strongly believe, like you, that silver and gold is going to move. And I think, too, within the stacking community, you're getting a lot more people interested in mining stock. And, this was something that they really weren't interested in prior to, I would say, even like this year or 2 years ago. And I do think, too, I think what got some people thinking about it more seriously was, again, the example of Warren Buffett pouring all of that money into gold mining. So, I think that this is a tremendous opportunity as well. I do know of some individuals that are investing in junior miners. And again, I do think that everybody should give Blue Lagoon Resources another look. So,
look, it's a last thought on what you just said. It's a matter of diversification, right?
Yeah.
You never want to put everything into one. So I would not recommend just buying stock, and I would not recommend just buying only physical. I think it's a balance, and you have to look at your risk profile. Maybe your comfort is to buy much more of the physical, which would make sense for you. But I think you always have to have a little bit of exposure to some other things.
Absolutely.
Because that's where you get the big huge increases, potentially. Now you got to do your own due diligence and you got to look at your risk profile. But look, I personally put in $300,000 myself, into this company. My family put a whole bunch more, and between me and my friends, we financed this originally financed this for $2.1 million. So that our interests are aligned, right? So I think you have to look at your own risk profile and just study it and make sure that you are somewhat diversified
Yeah.
and take it and be able to take advantage of the markets.
I think that's key too, what you just said. And I know we were wrapping up, but then these other points come up. The fact that you are also personally invested and you have friends and family also invested in this operation, that you guys are, doing everything to make this super profitable. And the fact that you tell people that you are available to answer any questions and that you're very approachable. I mean, it comes through on your interviews. It was kind of one of the reasons why I was actually looking forward to speaking with you, is because you do seem like a down-to-earth guy. So, like I said, I think your company, it sounds like it's going to do really, really great things. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's on the horizon for you. So, Rana Vig, I appreciate you. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And I just want to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, I'm the Stacking Stormtrooper. Check out these videos. Until next time, long live the Empire.